Sir, you were a High Commissioner in Fiji.
That was later. That was much later. You know,
86, 89.
Before you become an ambassador, you have to have 16 years at least.
16 years അല്ലേ സാർ 86, 89 സമയത്താണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു.
അതെ 87.
And എന്നെ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ക്യൂരിയസ് ആക്കിയ ഒരു കാര്യം, യു ആർ ഇൻ ചാർജ് ഓഫ് ദി സൗത്ത് പസഫിക് ഐലൻഡ്സ് ഓൾസോ.
8 of them.
അതായത് തുവാലു,
Kiribati,
and
Kiribati
and
should be pronounced as Kiribati.
Kiribati and
they write it as Kiribati.
Kiribati, and again Tonga.
Yeah.
And I think Nauru,
Solomon Islands,
and Samoa.
I can mention even all the 8 countries even now.
ഏറ്റവും രസം എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഈ സ്ഥലങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞ തോങ്ക, തുവാലു, ഇതൊക്കെ സാധാരണക്കാരെ ചിലപ്പോൾ കേട്ടിട്ട് പോലും ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. So I'm sure you must have spent a lot of time in these islands.
Yes, I did.
എങ്ങനെയുണ്ടായിരുന്നു സാർ അവിടുത്തെ ഐലൻഡ്സും അവിടുത്തെ ഒരു കൾച്ചർ എങ്ങനെയായിരുന്നു? ഇത്രയും ഐലൻഡ്സിലൊക്കെ
അവിടെ, as far as Fiji is concerned, it was half Indian.
ഇന്ത്യൻ ഡയസ്പോറ ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സ്ഥലം.
ഹാഫ് ഇന്ത്യൻ, മെജോറിറ്റി ഇന്ത്യൻ ആയിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ അത് ഹാഫായി ഇപ്പൊ കുറച്ചുകൂടെ കുറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. So it was a different kind of posting. It was not a diplomatic posting at all. It was a welfare posting for the Indian community, shall we say. And then it became a crisis because there was a military coup against them and they were disenfranchised, you know. And then Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister. Normally crisis പോലെ വരുമ്പം we don't interfere. Any Indian feels uncomfortable, we tell them you come home. You know, Burmയിൽ നിന്ന് 1 million Indians were thrown out.
Okay.
But government of India did not say a word. What about their rights? What their property? Nothing. They were leaving just with the clothes on. Even the gold and everything they had to submit it in the embassy. Even now there is gold in my room there, locked up, and these people have left and they are gone. We don't know what to do with the gold. You know, nothing was allowed to be taken. Government of India did not raise a single voice. They said, come along. The Dandakaranya project was cleared and houses were built and they let 1 million people be accepted back. But that is all changed. Rajiv Gandhi's policy was to depend on overseas Indians. The diaspora policy change cheyadeyanu. Because that is a Sampithroda kalam ormayilla. Because he was getting technologies, money from the diaspora. That was his policy. So when this happened, since it was a very happy-go-lucky, communally very close, you know, Indians and Fijians were very close to each other in a situation. When the crisis came, we didn't know what to do. So Indians did not like the coup, but they were not so upset as we were in India.
Okay.
So they said, we came here for some, you know, sustenance for ourselves. Let them rule the country. Why should we bother about it? Just a line that most of them are taking. And then Rajiv Gandhi unilaterally declared in Delhi without consulting me, sanctions against Fiji. If only I could talk to him, I would have dissuaded him from doing that. Sanctions what? Indian stuff that we export to Fiji, eaten by the Indians, we banned. Can you imagine? So there's so much of disappointment about this goodwill that we showed on them, and that made the Fijians upset and the Indians also upset. And they would come to me not to get a visa for India.
Okay.
They have no idea what India was like. They want Australia, New Zealand or UK. So they tell me that please recommend my case to the UK ambassador or the Australian ambassador. I said, ask for an Indian visa, I'll give it to you across the table. But how will I go and ask? So I asked the British ambassador about this. He said, do you know, Mr. High Commissioner, every Indian in this country has applied for a visa except one. So I said, who? He said, you. He said, you are the only Indian in this island who has not applied for a visa. It was so bad. About 30% of the people left. But Rajiv Gandhi's plan of fighting it worked, because 10 years democracy was restored and I was invited back to Fiji to celebrate. They expelled me. I was given 72 hours to leave. So I left in 48 hours and I said I would like to come back for 24 hours. That's why I'm leaving these 24 hours. I gave an interview at the airport. But within that period they invited me back, the new government.
Okay.
For restoring democracy, and India was credited with it. So though I had gone through all these issues, because Rajiv Gandhi told me, you fight, whatever happens to you, it doesn't matter. He said in so many words, we'll make a sacrifice of you, but you have to go and fight for them. And he had all those, many things I dissuaded him from doing. But he had many plans to get the island back, which are not very possible. You know, you are 2,000 kilometers away. You can't send an Indian armada there, no?
Exactly.
So such thoughts were made in Delhi. But for the first 4 days, I had no access. You know, there was no internet, no telephone. We have only a telephone and a teleprinter. Both were cut off by the military government. So I had no way of communicating to anybody. So I went to an Australian ship, which was, so Australian High Commissioner was a friend. From there I used to call Foreign Secretary and others.
Okay.
But that all took about 4 days. By then they had taken on these decisions. In fact, I gave a lecture recently about diplomats and journalists, how they relate. So I said diplomats have to analyze these things, but the journalists just report. So they were reporting back from Australia, etc., that the Indians are doomed and this thing, and government of India must come. That was not the spirit at all. So if only I had a chance to speak to the Prime Minister or even the Foreign Minister at that time, these sanctions we would not have done. But his theory was that if you don't stand by Indians in Fiji, the Indians in America will also not care for you. So the message that he wanted to give, he actually changed his grandfather's policy. Nauru's policy was, if you go to another country, belong to them, be your loyalty to them. We will think of you, but we will do nothing for you.